You cannot enter God's presence with the dark companions beside you, but you also cannot enter alone. All your brothers must enter with you, for until you have accepted them, you cannot enter, for you cannot understand wholeness unless you are whole. And no part of the Son can be excluded if he would know the wholeness of his Father. In A Course in Miracles, the word holiness means invulnerable innocence. This is experienced first as a state of mind. And when I'm uncompromising in accepting my innocence, it means that I have extended it to all my brothers and sisters with no exceptions. The temptation for guilt is overwhelming most of the time, but if I watch my thoughts carefully, I see how the guilt shows up mostly as projections onto other people. This impulse to point fingers and lay blame really is one of the hardest things to let go of. The reason is explained in chapter 5 of the text. Quote, "What you do not understand is that two voices speak for different interpretations of the same thing simultaneously, or almost simultaneously. For the ego always speaks first. Alternate interpretations are unnecessary, until the first one has been made, and speaking itself was unnecessary before the ego was made. The ego speaks in judgment, and the Holy Spirit reverses its decisions, much as a Supreme Court has the power to reverse a lower court's decision about the laws of this world." End quote. In previous videos, I've talked about this world being a dream, and I've talked about how dreams are just wishes fulfilled. Except they're only fulfilled while in the dream, not in reality. If we look at history, one conclusion I have reached is that destroying or canceling our enemies has never resulted in anything like a lasting peace. And the old saying that when I'm pointing a finger, there are 4 fingers pointing back at me also holds true. So if the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, then it is insane to believe it will work this time. If it's a lasting peace I want, I have to accept everyone without a single exception as invulnerably innocent. It is not a wish that all my brothers and sisters are invulnerable, innocent, or holy. That is true in reality. That is God's will. It cannot be undone, but it can be denied, and the dream reflects my denial of it. Say you had a dream last night in which you killed someone. You wake up and feel guilty and turn yourself into the police. They're going to need to see a body or some proof of some sort before they lock you up, and you won't be able to produce it. If this world is nothing more than a dream of separation, as Jesus insists that it is, that is the technicality for which I am released from guilt. As you look upon yourself and judge what you do honestly, as you have been asked to do, you may be tempted to wonder how you can be guiltless. But consider this: you are not guiltless in time, but in eternity. You have sinned in the past, but there is no past. Always has no direction. Time seems to go in one direction, but when you reach its end, it will roll up like a long carpet that has spread along the past behind you and disappear. As long as you believe the Son of God is guilty, you will walk along this carpet, believing that it leads to death, and the journey will seem long and cruel and senseless, for so it is. It's your get-out-of-jail-free card. Again, if you're not used to these ideas, you might dismiss them as just spiritual gobbledygook. I get that. Show me some proof. I understand your skepticism. My mind has a preference for intuition, so I like nothing more than connecting dots between science and spirituality. In tomorrow's presentation, I'll present the scientific theory that is gaining traction today, which suggests that what Jesus is saying about this world being a dream is true.